Hello, Abundant Life Nation. I'm coming on for our Sunday. This is Rise Up Challenge day number 11, I think it is. So before I jump into today's topic, I'm just going to let you know a little bit more about me. I have a lot of new followers. We have a lot of new subscribers over on YouTube. On the Abundant Life Nation, Abundant Life TV channel over on YouTube, and a lot of new followers over here as well. So just to give you kind of some background on me, I am a master abundant life coach. And what that means is I actually train other life coaches. My husband and I own Abundant Life Path University, where we offer courses on life, love, business, and leadership. And specifically, we have courses in a whole track dedicated to life, specifically life coaches. So there's courses for people in general who want to know how to successfully navigate life and learn how to live abundant. Then there's courses specifically for life coaches. And we actually certify and train abundant life coaches. We have a specific track and training that's 12 weeks for them. I am the CEO of the Millionaire Coach brand that offers branding and marketing for life coaches. I'm also the co-founder of Abundant Life Nation with my husband, which is a movement dedicated to helping people live abundant. We have events and conferences, Abundant Life conferences, coming as soon as COVID really lets up. So a little bit more about me before I jump into today's topic also is that years ago, guys, I opted out of religion. And so just so you get an understanding of what that means, I literally saw a lot of the toxic, dysfunctional elements and cycles that organized religion, not God, organized religion can keep people trapped in cycles of lack, cycles of pain, cycles of suffering and struggling that God never intended. And so I just went a different route. I decided to dig more into spirituality, to dig more into personal relationship with God. And so just to kind of set the tone for new people who are coming on, if you are very religious, if you are literally like totally legalistic, religious Ritas, religious Ralph, and you are Bible thumping and thumping people over the head with Bible scriptures and what they should and shouldn't be doing according to the Word of God, this is probably not exactly the channel or the content for you, because I come from both a spiritual but a real life wisdom experience, lived it, done it, right? Got the certificate, got the trophy for it, right? So I'm known for really keeping it real. So if you're someone who's spiritual and you love spiritual principles, you love spiritual truth, and you are on a spiritual journey of aligning your life with God in a deeper way, I'm definitely for you. But like I say, if you are religious, I'm not for you. And my messages are for people really of faith. I mean, typically, what I have learned over years and years and years of coaching thousands of people all over the world is that there's my tribe, our tribe, are people who have a heart after God, or at least are good-hearted. Because I've met, like I said yesterday in yesterday's live, I've met agnostics and atheists who are more full of love and God, and maybe they've just rejected religion, they've rejected God because they got hurt by so-called people of God or got hurt in organized religion, which if you dig into a lot of their stories, a lot of the time that's what's at the foundation of that kind of opting out of God. So I've taken the time to listen to them and get to know them and hear their pain, and that's why they've taken that position typically. But yeah, it's like I believe in spiritual principles, guys. So I speak a lot of spiritual principles. You can hear me reference, the Bible, but I'll also reference spiritual books, spiritual universal principles. I talk about meditation. I talk about the law of attraction, manifestation, visualization. And if that makes you uncomfortable, and if that's going to trigger you, this isn't the channel for you. I'm just letting you know right now, since we have so many new followers and so many people coming on, just letting you know that up front. Yeah. Neil says, I'm an atheist and all I did was read the Bible. Laugh out loud. Right. So you can make choices and decisions for yourself. But I'm telling you right now, like, I think who just said that they're atheist? Neil said he's an atheist, right? But I bet if I met Neil, guys, and I got to know Neil, Neil would be so full of love. I'm just going to put it out there. I bet you Neil would actually be more full of love than a lot of these so-called Christians that are walking around out here. And so I just want to put that out there because I often have to make these announcements because, you know, Christians, very legalistic, religious Christians will get hold of my content and they're like, how are you a woman of God and you have on a midriff top? How are you a woman of God and you're showing some boobies? How are you a woman of God and you're... Look, I think we have got to start to redefine spirituality. And part of it, guys, is that when it comes to being spiritual and being a spiritual guru and being a relationship expert, you know, when I begin to talk about God, you're a Black woman, you automatically get categorized as some very strict Christian woman. And that's not true. I would say that I am a blend of spirituality. I was raised Christian. I'm a preacher's kid. Can't get away from that. Wouldn't even want to try. However, there's a lot of principles and a lot of things that I share that are definitely rooted in awakening and spiritual empowerment and personal empowerment that have nothing to do with fundamental Christian protocols, traditions. Yeah, breaking away from that because I had to learn that there was so much more that I needed in order to start living well, living abundantly, healing, right? So today's topic, I'm saying all of that to say that, right, you have to take the time to get to know me. You're not going to know me through one video. You're not going to know me. You can go over to YouTube. There's years and years of content over there. Yes, dogma. I'm not here to debate anybody. I'm telling you right now, if you're one of those people, over on YouTube, you know, it's a different audience on YouTube. Literally on YouTube, people love to come on there throwing stuff at you and slamming you and theory. You know, they want to debate. They want to do this. They want to... I've never been that person. You can believe whatever you want to believe. All I do is I speak from a place of my own personal experience, my own personal knowledge, what's worked for me, what's worked for people I know, what's worked for clients over, you know, a lot of years of working with thousands of people all over the globe, what's worked for them to get results in their life. And that's what I'm here to share. Okay. Because yeah, I just opt out. Coach my top. Hey, RLP, I'm sorry, but you have no apologies. Loving you. You're simply amazing. Bless up. Thank you, love. And I think that I'm definitely here. Carrie and I are in a position, guys, where we are here for all the people who are in between. You know, all the people who are in between. We are here for the people who opted out of religion a long time ago, who began to seek some other stuff, you know, seek some other knowledge, right? We began that's who we're here for. We are here for people who are ready to really open themselves up and say, listen, I love God, but I know that the God has more for me. All right. Many devout Christians are not spiritually independent or secure outside of dogma. That's mostly cultural as opposed to being truly aligned with principles. Love you, Rebecca. Thank you, sweetheart. And that is so, so, so true. So that being said, today's topic is a takeoff from yesterday's topic. I saw in the comments on the YouTube, someone said, Rebecca, I don't know how to vet and qualify people to be in my life. You're mentioning this. I mentioned it yesterday in how, you know, everybody's not a good person, right? Everybody ain't good. And how do you know a good man or a good woman? And so I defined that yesterday in yesterday's video. So today I'm going to talk about vetting and qualifying people to be not only in dating, guys, but in life. Vetting and qualifying people in life, because it's the same. It's really no different. I hear women all the time, Rebecca, how do I vet and qualify men, you know, when I'm dating? Listen, You need to be vetting and qualifying everybody in your life. So once again, this is for good-hearted people, because that's what I was about to say. Our audience is good-hearted people. I'm not talking about you backbiting, right? Abusive, stealing, lying, manipulating, cheating. I'm talking about people with good intentions. I'm talking about good-hearted people who are showing up, trying to do their best, want to always be improving on who they are always working on their personal development, their healing, their inner mindset. They're always working on. You're always working on you. That's our audience, okay? So everybody else, you can just click off because this ain't for you. So when it comes to vetting and qualifying people to be in your life, the reason this is very difficult, guys, is back to yesterday's topic. Good-hearted people have these big hearts and they haven't learned boundaries and they haven't learned to protect your heart. So you struggle with setting up boundaries to vet people. So the reason that this process gets a little bit more complicated is that in order to vet and qualify people, it is not about just asking a series of questions and dates, or asking a series of questions as you're becoming friends with someone, or taking the time to try to almost interview people to see if you're going to allow yourself to get closer to them. True vetting and qualifying is actually based in self-worth. It's based in self-esteem, right? Because at the end of the day, the only way you learn how to protect yourself is you have to value yourself. Think about that for a second. In the example I gave yesterday of how so many people find it easier to vet and qualify people and have more firmness, right, to command respect in your professional life, your entrepreneurial life, your business life. It's easier for you over there, right? The reason is because you have more confidence in that area. Confidence. You have self-worth. You believe in yourself when it comes to your job, your business, your money. You're established, you're firm. You're like, I command respect here. But on the personal side, I'm sorry, guys, my neighbor's kids are over here just making all kinds of noise. I got to close my window even though I love my fresh air. On the other side, on the personal side, what you're dealing with is no one's ever taught you how to believe in yourself. So now it becomes very difficult to vet and qualify people in your personal life. Why? Because your self-worth and your self-value, how you see yourself, your self-image, your worth, no one's taught you how to do that. So guess what? When you meet people, you literally, like I mentioned yesterday, you're so wide open because you don't realize it. What's the opposite of high self-esteem? Low self-esteem, right? Low self-esteem and self-worth make you move too fast. The number one rule to vetting and qualifying is slow down. You are not desperate for anything or anyone, because you understand that you have to protect something very valuable. Your heart, your life. You have to protect it, which means that I'm going to take my time getting to know you. I'm going to take my time before I get emotionally involved, emotionally connected, emotionally invested in you, because I have to first make sure that you are worth that, safe for that, right? That you are somebody who lines up with me from a compatibility perspective. Compatibility. It takes time to recognize compatibility. And the problem is that you first have to get comfortable being alone. You're going to have to be okay with being alone. Do you know how many people are in toxic relationships, toxic situations, toxic friendships, simply because you don't know how to be comfortable in your own skin? You don't know how to be comfortable within yourself, by yourself. So what you're doing is you're actually seeking all of this attention and company because you're not comfortable, solid, right? Stable by yourself, which means that you are too eager, right? Too eager, you're too desperate, too needy, and it's hard for you to see yourself this way, especially because most people have created these images of themselves that are based on their professional, right? Especially men. You've based how you see yourself on your professional expertise, your professional success, your degrees, your money, right? Men and women do it. Men and women do it. But I'm just saying, you look at yourself and say, how do I know this? I've had clients over the years, coaching clients. When they first come in, I give them this confidence test on a scale of 1 to 10. I want you to rate yourself, right now, your current level of confidence and how you feel about you. Rate that from 1 to 10. And everyone that comes in is a 7, an 8, a 9. High, really high. Rarely ever a 10, but 7, 8, 9, everyone ranks themselves really high. Especially in my dating coaching, right? Dating coaching programs. They start getting into the work. And all of a sudden, we're taking a deep dive into all of the healing work, the deep level of personal development. We're removing layers and the issues and the pain and the trauma. And then they start doing that work. And they work through all of that. And it's now time to start dating. It's now time to get out here and start meeting people. And all of a sudden, that confidence that they had in the beginning of the program, when it's time to put it to the test, is shaky. All of a sudden, I'm not so sure about dates. All of a sudden, why do I need a makeover? All of a sudden, why do I have to do this? They start putting up resistance to the process? They were trusting the process all the way through. But now when it's time to actually interact with other people, because guess what? That confidence test in the beginning of their program, they weren't thinking about as it applies to the opposite sex. They weren't thinking about it as it applies to relationships. They were thinking the ego leads with the highest level of confidence you have in whatever area of life where you feel successful. This is why people take on the identity of what you do for a living, men and women. This is what I do. This is my title. This is my money, right? This is the car I drive. This is where I live, right? Yes, we have a YouTube channel, Abundant Life TV. There's a link in our bio. So now it comes to relationships, and all of a sudden that confidence is shaky. You don't know how to believe in yourself when it comes to other people. You don't know how to keep up boundaries. So when it comes to vetting and qualifying people to be in your life, this is where you drop the ball. Because all of a sudden, all this anxiety kicks in, fear of rejection, all of the abandonment issues that from your past and your childhood kick in, right? In your personal life. You don't deal with that in your professional life, but it's in your personal life where this stuff shows up. So before you can learn to start vetting and qualifying people, you're going to have to do some hardcore work in the self-esteem and self-worth departments, right? Which means for a lot of you, there's going to have to be a reprogramming of how you think about yourself, how you believe in yourself, before you start inviting people into your life. This is why most people get stuck in bad relationships and bad friendships, because you don't know any other way to be. Baby, can you close my door, honey, so she doesn't run in and out? So you don't know any other way to be in relationships, right? And so you literally keep showing up again and again. And this is the sad part. And this is what I want to share. You literally are such a good person. Good-hearted people are amazing people. Really, really good people, right? However, you get in relationships, you're connecting with people, and you do too much. So what does that lead to? It leads to people not appreciating you. It leads to people disrespecting you. It leads to entitlement. Guess what most good-hearted people are? Enablers. What does an enabler do? An enabler helps too much, offers too much, gives too much. You do stuff for people that they should be doing for themselves. What is the underlying subconscious psychology of that? You're trying to win them over. You're trying to convince them that you are a good person. You're trying to convince them subconsciously that you're worthy of love. If deep down you really knew that you are worthy of love, and deep down you really truly had high self-esteem and self-confidence, not as it applies to what you do, right? As it applies to who you are. Confidence and self-esteem. Self-esteem is all about who you are, your own self-worth. It's inalienable. How you feel and how you feel about what you deserve by who you are. That's self-esteem. So guess what? People come into your life, you teach them how to think about you by what you require and what you don't require. Every time you let something slide, every time you're too easy, every time you don't speak up for yourself, every time you don't correct someone when they have a thought about you and you don't say, no, that's not me. No, that's not quite it. I really didn't appreciate when you said it like that, or when you said that to me, or when you did that you did not respect my time. Think about how it is professionally, and then think about personal. So when it comes to vetting and qualifying people, you're going to have to slow down, because you have to be able to be analyzing, are you who you say you are, right? Do your actions line up with your words? Do your actions line up with who you say you are? How do you do this? If somebody says that they love God and have a personal relationship with God, and somebody says that they're someone who's very, very focused on personal development, are they reading books? What books are they reading right now? Do they have a therapist? Do they have a coach? Have they gone through any healing programs? Right? How do you have a personal relationship with God? Is there prayer and meditation discipline in your life daily that you have a relationship with God? Right? Women are so guilty of this. A man can come along, honey, and spit game and tell you, oh yeah, I love God, I'm a man of God, I'm a this, I'm a that, spit couple of scriptures, and you are, oh, he's got to be the one, because God said my husband was coming this year, and here he is. And literally, come on now, all he got to do is say a few little things that make you think he's an amazing person, but yet you don't know nothing about him. He hasn't had to prove anything to you. He hasn't had to show you anything, right? Somebody says, oh, I have a great work ethic. Do they? Do they have a great work ethic? How? How do you know that? How hard are they working? Right? Financially, they're stable. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. But you live at your mama's house. Excuse me? And you don't learn that he lived at his mama's house until after you've been dating him 60, 90 days? And you didn't catch on that you never went to his house? He was always wanting to come over your house? Why? Because you ain't asking enough questions. Because you're not digging deep enough. Because you didn't even invite God into the process. Listen, good men and good women are so quick they just want love. They just want to be accepted, right? People want love. They want affection. So guess what? I hope he's the one. Do you understand that 99% of the people you meet are not compatible with you? 99% of the people you meet, just being a good person isn't enough. There is so much more complexity to compatibility, and you have to take your time getting to know people, because that right there is the problem. You don't want to be alone while you're taking the time to get to know people. You want to rush in, and then you want to make them match this ideal fantasy you created in their head of who you want them to be. Can I tell you something else? Half the time, you're not even listening, because they're telling you who they are. They're telling you what they think. They're telling you where they're at in life. And you don't listen and pay attention to the answers to the conversation, because you're too busy trying to make them fit what you want them to be. And the warning signs are there. The inconsistencies are there. there's a rhythm to relationships. There's a rhythm, right? Texting, calling, communicating, seeing each other, there's a rhythm. And whenever that rhythm gets broken, there's something going on. If somebody disappears, consistently, just at times just disappears, breaking a rhythm. They're not dependable. They got other stuff going on. They're not, you are not a priority. And this is friendships, love, relationships, romance, all of the above. One of the things I realized I would do even in friendships is I would be someone's ride or die, but I never ever stopped to realize that that was never tested for me. In other words, there's situations where someone needs me and I show up. But guess what good-hearted people do? They tend to be isolated. They tend to not ask for help. They tend to not want to ask people for help. Back to the low self-esteem, back to the low self-worth, because you don't want to have to need anybody. It's this vicious cycle in the subconscious psychology of the low self-worth and self-esteem. You don't want to be a burden. This is what you tell yourself. I don't want to burden anyone. I got it. I can take care. You are a lonely bird. You're always doing everything yourself. No, you don't ask for help from anybody or anything. I got it. Because subconsciously, you're really afraid that people are going to let you down or that they don't love you. So guess what? It's a vicious, toxic cycle. Because you don't ask for more, you don't get more. And because you don't require more of people, they don't have to give it. But in the meantime, you're constantly giving and giving and doing, which creates this vicious cycle of you not being appreciated and taken for granted. Because see, don't get it twisted, enablers. They're not doing, everybody that does this is not necessarily a bad person. You're just teaching them how to treat you. They don't even know anything's wrong until you're getting upset because you feel so resentful because they're not meeting your needs. And how could she realize that she didn't help me and she wasn't there for me and he didn't da. But then you have to stop and realize people aren't mind readers. They can't answer the needs that you're not asking for. And so now you're mad at everybody, and there's this passive aggressive, which is the other psychological tendency of good-hearted people. You're now passive aggressive. You don't say anything. You don't check people along the way. You don't correct people along the way. You don't hold them accountable along the way. Like, excuse me, I need a ride. Excuse me. I need help. Excuse me. I need your help with this weekend. Excuse me. You don't like to ask for nothing, but then you resent that they didn't offer it. And then you wait till about 10 resentments, 10 issues later, now you're angry, and it takes you being angry to actually speak up for yourself, but now it comes off as angry and you're yelling at someone or you're mad at someone. And now they're looking at you like you're crazy because they're like, wait a minute, who are you? Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I didn't know that you were upset 5 months ago over that situation. And I didn't know that you felt some type of way because I didn't come and see you when you had COVID. I didn't know that because I didn't know. You didn't ask me for none of that. You didn't mention any of that. You just think in your head, well, a real woman would, well, a real man would, what a kind person would, well, a real Christian would, a person who loves God would have done it without asking. No, that's not how this works. That's your mind trying to create an out for you where you don't have to be an adult, a mature adult, and communicate your desires and wishes and needs to the people around you. You want them to be mind readers, and then you want to be mad. And then after enough time of people letting you down, you now want to cut them off. Because this is the other thing that good-hearted people do. Instead of vetting and qualifying and setting boundaries, you're either all in or all out. Because you don't know how to be in the middle. Steady, balanced, moderate, firm. I'm firm and kind. I'm kind until it's time to be firm. I'm firm until I can be kind. Because you don't know how to walk that middle road. It's either all in and I'm just love bombing you and giving you everything and all wide open, or I'm, oh my God, you don't love me, you don't treat me right, right? And then you're walking away from him. She was toxic. He was toxic. He was a narcissist. She's a narcissist. Blah, blah, blah. When really, you are not letting people know and holding people accountable for how they treat you. Guess I'm going to describe a situation, and you're going to be able to relate to this so much. You're in a situation where you're not happy. Someone has said or done something that you're not happy with. You go to have a conversation because you're telling yourself, I gotta talk to her. I gotta let her know that wasn't cool. And when you go to have the conversation, your stomach is in knots. It makes you so nervous to have an adult conversation about what you want and what's fair. I'm not even talking about you being spoiled. I'm not even talking about anything ridiculous, just treating you fair. You have a hard time even initiating a conversation to express your feelings about any situation because you are so conflict, right? You avoid conflict at all costs because you don't want to argue. And that's what you tell yourself. I don't want to argue. I don't want to. Why is it going to be an argument? Why you gotta be angry to express yourself? Why can't you sit here just as sweet and nice and say, hey, I love you to pieces, honey, but I really didn't appreciate when you said da-da-da-da-da. Why can't you do that? Why can't you say, I really appreciate our friendship. However, when you say da-da-da-da-da, it makes me feel like da-da-da-da-da. Why can't you just say that? Right? Back to enablers and being passive aggressive. This is why it's so difficult to vet and qualify. Remember, the topic of this video is how to vet and qualify people to be in your life. Why is it difficult for good-hearted people? Because you find communication to be very difficult. And it is all rooted in low self-esteem. It's rooted in low self-worth because the subconscious belief is that maybe they don't love me enough to do what I want them to do. Maybe they don't value me enough to meet my needs, meet my requests, right? That's the fear. Subconsciously, if you dig deep enough, that's the fear. They're going to leave me. Back to fear, rejection, abandonment, all kinds of issues that could have come about through your childhood. All this stuff is so interconnected, guys. So interconnected, right? That you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. This is literally standard operating procedure for so many good-hearted people because no one's taught people how to be well-balanced. So as you begin to think about these subjects and you begin to think about vetting and qualifying people to be in your life, one of the things that you'll have to do is get a therapist and start working through your trauma, working through your issues, working through all the stuff that is in your past, a lot of the time from your childhood, that causes you to have fears of rejection, to be passive aggressive, to be an enabler. Why do you do too much, right? And actually working, for those of you that are single, right? Working through the aspects of why you don't like being alone. Why you can't be alone, why you jump out of one thing right into another, why you're always seeking out company, why you're always seeking out attention, right? Even when it's people you don't enjoy. Look, some of you got toxic people in your life, but you'd rather be around the toxic people than to be alone. And what is that saying? Right? What is that saying? So there's a lot of work. It's not so easy because when you express yourself to someone that you didn't like something they did, they usually don't receive it good, and then it causes tension. And we have to be okay with tension. Because if someone is not available to us to show up, if they're not concerned about our feelings and our thoughts, think about it, Kay. Think about what we're saying. Aren't you considerate of their feelings? Aren't you always considering, aren't you choosing your words very carefully, Kay, when you talk to people? Aren't you always trying to make sure you're not trying to hurt people's feelings? You literally sit back and censor and filter yourself all the time because you are so lightly stepping, because you're so careful. You don't want to hurt people. You're considerate, right? But yet, you're concerned over a little bit of tension or conflict because you're worried you're upsetting them if you require more from them. Think about how illogical that is, guys. That's not fair. Not fair. I have a new book and a new course coming called Nice for What? This is going to be my version of a self-esteem and confidence class in boundaries and finding your voice, because it's so greatly needed for good-hearted people. So that book and that course is coming. For those of you who you already know you're dealing with some low self-esteem, lack of boundaries, lack of finding your voice, lack of stepping up for yourself, lack of all this stuff I'm talking about, you definitely are going to want to get my book and my course as soon as it comes out, because it's for you. That's why I'm writing it. Because I actually have gotten to the point where I'm really, really tired of good-hearted people suffering and hurting simply because they don't know how to believe in themselves. They don't know how, right? And it's like I say, it starts with us getting comfortable with ourselves and doing some healing work to heal our hearts and our minds when it comes to believing in ourselves, right? Right? Believing in ourselves. And so that's what I'm here to do. Right? I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to believe in ourselves, right? Nice for what, right? Nice isn't getting you anything. It's not getting you anything. And most people really, really confuse nice and kind. Yes, we need to be kind, but nice has no boundaries. Nice is not maturity. Remember we talked yesterday about maturity? Nice does not require maturity. It doesn't require boundaries. It doesn't require correction and accountability. Whereas kind requires all of the above, because there's a time to be kind and there's a time to not be kind, right? So I'm so excited about everything that's coming along. This is, I think, like I said, day 11 of our Rise Up Challenge. So I'm coming live every single day. Yes, this will be over on our YouTube channel as well, on Abundant Life TV. Yeah, nice versus kind. That's in the book as well, because that's what we confuse most things, like where this comes from, this whole thing that we think we're supposed to be pushovers because that's being kind. No, that's nice. And nice isn't honest. I'll probably talk about that tomorrow. How nice is not honest, guys. Actually, when you're being nice and you're not speaking your true thoughts and your true feelings, you're lying. God has put in us an innate system that is very well balanced. Believe it or not, your gut instinct, your initial response to things will typically be the correct response, the correct feeling. But really good-hearted people will filter themselves. They filter their gut response. They filter, right? You censor yourself all of the time. Your initial thoughts, your feelings, you filter it, you censor it, you judge yourself all the time. No, don't say that. You can't say that. No, you can't do that, right? When it's your honest, true feelings, you say yes when you want to say no. You say no when you want to say yes, right? Because you're always censoring yourself. You're always lying, right? Yeah, then we end up in unfortunate circumstances. Yes. And you know what? I don't know how to say your name, sweetheart. Renogu. Overtly nice can sometimes make you covertly manipulative. Listen, one of the subconscious psychology behind being really, really nice, guys, is actually very manipulative. You really do believe that if I treat people this way, I'm going to get what I want. If I'm nice to people, they're going to be nice to me, so I'm going to get what I want. It is truly manipulative subconsciously, because you're not being honest and genuine and sincere about how you really feel or what you really want to do or what you really want to say. But you're trying to be a certain way to get a certain response from people. And it backfires. Because human psychology, guys, and human behavior, people respect and appreciate boundaries. They don't respect and appreciate people who are wide open, who let them do whatever they want to do. Keep giving them everything under the sun, even though they don't treat you or appreciate you right. right? It's part of human behavior. Whatever you chase will run. It's human behavior. So guess what? For most good-hearted people, especially in dating, guys, thank you, sweetheart. Especially in dating, a lot of you guys are out here not even realizing it, that you're vulnerable because you're out here so needy and desperate. Because you don't realize that constant kind of you initiating, you wanting, you comes off as needy. You doing the most, needy. You worried so much about what they think, needy, desperate, right? No wonder then when the vultures and the predators come around, like I said yesterday, you're easy prey, right? You're a target because you're wide open. You're too easy. And they can read it all over you because you're like, love me, you got the pick me, right? The pick me's, pick me, pick me, pick me. No, you don't want to be picked by everybody. You're not a fit for everybody. It's important to begin to recognize how special you are. How special you are. You're not a fit for everyone. You don't want everyone to pick you. No, you're looking for people to validate you when you need to be validating yourself. You need to know who you are. It's a very dangerous situation when you are not secure in who you are and you go out in this world looking to be identified by other people, looking for other people to give you validation and identity. I don't care if that's in church, business, relationships. If you are out here looking for other people to define you, validate you, and tell you who you are going to be in a world of hurt because people only see you through their own filter. And people are innately, right? Innately. The other demographic, not the good-hearted people, the other people are innately selfish. Innately. So guess what? I'm going to tell you who you are and who you need to be based on what best serves me. That's what the selfish people are going to do. That's what they're going to do. What do you think? Why do people think people have so much spiritual abuse? Why I come right off the bat saying I'm not religious. Opted out. I don't want to be associated with the spiritual abuse. Why? Because in those circles, in that cycle, they're trying to tell you who you are, tell you what you should do, tell you what your purpose is, not directing you to God in relationship to learn that from God for yourself and to dig into your own spiritual journey, but they try to label you and tell you what you should be doing or who you are because it will best serve them. People do it all day long. And it's manipulative and it's abusive. But if you don't know who you are and show up confidently, that's what people will do all day long and take advantage of you by putting you in a position that best serves them. And guess what, guys? As you start to detox and you start to heal and you start to get boundaries and self-esteem and self-love and self-confidence and you start speaking up for yourself, the people who hate it the most were the people who were getting the biggest benefits from you not having those boundaries. It's your kids, it's your grown kids, it's your husband, it's your wife, it's your cousins and them, it's Ray and them. It's people you've been paying their bills, cleaning their house, giving them rides. It's all the people who have been benefiting from your lack of boundaries, your lack of a voice, your lack of self-love. People are benefiting from that. And as you pull back and you say, no, wait a minute. What I realized was I wasn't requiring enough. And when you have not required enough, guess what? People don't feel like they have to show up. Guys, all the windows in my house are open. The sirens are going by. People don't, oh, she's good. She all right. He good. He's good. Right? It could even be a crisis in your life and you thought they would show up. You thought they'd be there for you because you just in the back of your mind, you said, when it really matters, they got me. When it really matters, they're going to come through. When it really matters, they're my ride or die. And then the crisis comes and they're not there because you've spent years training them that you don't need them. You've spent years programming them and conditioning them to believe that this is a one-way relationship and they are the benefactor of all of your love and support, and that there's not a whole lot required of them to receive that. So then when something is required, now they're like, they're over there like, oh, she good, she'll be all right. There ain't no sense of urgency, right? They're dropping the ball. They got a million other priorities in front of you, even though at the drop of a dime, you would have dropped everything for them. You trained them and conditioned them to treat you that way. But then you're hurt and you're mad when you realize that they're not there, that they are not giving you the same level of treatment that you've given them because you haven't required it. Tough stuff, guys. I'm only talking about stuff I've known. I'm a former nice girl, right? I'm a former enabler. I'm a former passive-aggressive girl, right? Neil says, my wife will love and need to hear this. Great, Neil, right? I had to change my ways. How did I change my ways? I had to analyze myself, get self-aware, to start doing the work to turn this stuff around. I had to analyze my influencers and my role models and realize, dang, I'm just like my mom. Ooh, I got this. Honestly, I learned to be this passive from her. Ooh, now I'm getting the same results in relationships, the same results with my money, the same results with my health, because you're repeating the patterns. And there's nothing wrong with our parents, guys. We love our parents. We love our role models and influencers. However, unless you want the same exact results, you can't afford to repeat the same patterns. And as much as I love my mama, as much as I love my daddy, I had to be able to look at them and say, as an adult, this is maturity, guys. Back to that word again, maturity. I had to look at them and say, I got to do better in these areas. I got to do better with this. I got to do better with that. I've got to change some things. I got to study and see what in my behavior has to change to get the desired result. Because they never got it. They never got this. They never figured this out. And I want a different result. So course is coming, book is coming, right? To help you navigate this stuff, guide you through this stuff, right? That's a lot of what life coaching is, guys. It's just guiding you through the necessary steps that you have to take to shift mindset, right? Shift mindset, to reprogram your core beliefs, the faulty core beliefs deep down on the inside about how you think about yourself, how you believe things work, how you show up. Sequoia says, my life changed after I peeped game. I feel like a new woman, right? I'm telling you, everything will start to shift. Everything will start to change. All right, guys, blessings and abundance. Love you to pieces. Make sure if you know that you are meant to be doing this type of work, right? That you want to be an abundant life coach. There's a link inside of our bio or even right above the video, below the video, where you can click a link. Summer enrollment is open. We have 21 slots left. It starts May 17th. It's a 12-week training, about 15 years worth of business and coaching experience put into 12 weeks, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's like a master's or daggone PhD in life coaching, guys. The training is really, really in depth. But if you know you want to be a life coach and you know that you're an empath, you know you're a spirit-led healer that wants to make a difference in people's lives all over the world, because that's what we're about. We are creating a movement of abundant life, right? Where we are actually pulling together people who truly believe that it is God's will for us to live abundantly. It's God's will for you to live abundantly, which means some things have to change. Some things have to change. It's time to evolve. It's time to grow. It's time to heal, right? And it's time for us to rub elbows with other people who we have this in common with. It's time to find your tribe, right? So Abundant Life Path University is open for summer enrollment for ALPCC, Abundant Life Path Coaching Certification. So make sure you click that link down below the video or inside of our profile. And make sure you subscribe, right? We're getting a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new followers on both YouTube and over here on Instagram. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on the bell on YouTube so you get the notifications when we come live or we upload new videos. My husband and I share our channel over on YouTube, so that's Abundant Life TV. So you can make sure you get alerts for whenever he's going live and I'm going live and we're uploading videos. All right. Blessings and abundance. I love you guys. I'm going to get back to work now. I'm working on this book, these courses, all this stuff we have going on. We have a lot of great stuff coming your way and look forward to sharing with you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.